Welcome back. Good to see you again, and good to see James Creedon. He's here with Media Watch, as ever.
Yes.
Now, the actors have been speaking out. I mean, the actors, of course, have taken part in this anti-Islam film, which has offended Muslims across the world. And obviously, we've had deaths with the protests. These actors now kind of doing a Pontius Pilate, washing their hands of the whole affair, aren't they?
They are indeed, Mark, and one in particular spoke to a Gawker website. Her name is Cindy Lee Garcia, and she says, hold on a minute, I wasn't told that this film was called Innocence of Muslims, which is the title, the working title that we're all familiar with. I was told it was called Desert Warriors and that it was about life in Egypt 2,000 years ago, before Islam even began. And every time you hear me saying Muhammad in the film, I was actually saying something else entirely. Master George, who was a character in the script I had. So this extraordinary story where she's saying that the actors were completely misled. That's an extract, well, not an extract, but a still from the YouTube. And this is the lady here who spoke to Gawker saying, we were just totally misled and we're extremely upset as a cast and crew. So there you go. And it turns out Sam Basile had told people on set that he was Egyptian, and he was overheard speaking Arabic, which doesn't fit with what he told Associated Press and the Wall Street Journal, that he was Israeli and that this was 100% Jewish funded. And in fact, it turns out now that the real guy behind all this, and we have his name here, Nakula Basili Nakula, who is actually a Coptic Christian and a resident in California.
Of course, James, that could turn out to be another red herring, couldn't it? He might be something else completely, because obviously we're not quite sure what he is at all, are we?
But as you say, layer after layer,
all these things are being thrown into the mix and creating more and more situations which could become potentially explosive, because clearly the Coptic Christians in Egypt have been, over many generations, victimised by Muslims. This could feed into that issue there and create problems in Egypt, which, could happen.
If you wanted to write a scenario for a situation that would actually antagonise pretty much every community going, this is it, really.
Do you believe that these actors, I mean, I don't, do you believe that these actors, are as 100% innocent as they claim to be? Because how on earth can you take part in that and not realise what on earth it was about?
Well, apparently there was a very, very clear effort to dub over original, and a couple of commentators in the US have said when you actually take the time to look for dubbing in the 13-minute trailer, you do see an awful lot of dubbing.
Which makes the film look even cheaper than it is.
Right, but if that is the case, it's a massive effort in deception, even of those who participated in it. So I suppose really we don't know what is full fact in the story just yet.
100 members of cast and crew are going to take this shady character, if that indeed is who he is, Nakula Basile Nakula, to court and sue him.
Right. Well,
good luck to them.
Because he's created a bit of a mess, hasn't he?
Okay, where do you want to go next, James?
All right, iPhones. We're going to talk about iPhones, the launch of the iPhone 5. A couple of interesting pieces of information online today about that, including a report that surfaced initially in the Chinese media in the Shanghai Evening Post. Somebody, a journalist who got into the factory Foxconn, which produces Apple iPhone 5, subcontracted to do so, and unveiled absolutely horrendous working conditions. People working through the night, being forced to process conveyor belts of parts in 3 seconds per part, working through the night. A lot of suicides reported in the dormitory where the people work on site, sleep on site rather. And in fact, just now in the Taipei Times, this came in just moments ago, another Foxconn worker falls to death in China. So what we're seeing here is the conditions in which the iPhone 5 are being made.
In China factory.
Apparently they bricked up the windows. It's an awful story, but perhaps it is worth pointing that out, because what we're actually seeing is a huge amount of, what would you say, just fuss around the launch of this iPhone 5. Apple are good at marketing.
There's always massive spin. Everyone's interested in it, even people who don't have an iPhone or don't even know how it works, and I'm one of them. But people are interested in this kind of thing because it seems to be the great sort of must-have accessory.
Absolutely.
To know there's this other side of it, alleged, because we don't 100% know that this is true, but this other side of it coming out where people are being exploited is dreadful.
It is really dreadful. And I don't know, do we have time for one quick clip? Let's take a look at this. People pretending that they see such a massive difference between the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 4.
The last iPhone. I'd love to. Oh, it's way better. Yeah, it's nice. That's definitely noticeably better. It's a little thinner. Looks like the screen's a little bigger.
Seems a little bit faster.
Yeah, faster, lighter.
A lot lighter than the last one. It's a lot faster as well.
They've actually looked at the iPhone 4.
That was the iPhone 4.
And they can't tell the difference. There we go.
Well, they think they can.
I can tell the difference between margarine and butter. That's in a song somewhere, isn't it? James, thank you very much
Thanks, Mark.
indeed. James Creedon, as ever, illuminating us with Media Watch. We're having another break now. Stay with us. After that, we're back with the full news roundup. You're watching Live from Paris here on France 24.